After the sales of the Power Ranger franchise to Hasbro, fans begun their hopes of the series returning to better pastures. I support the enthusiasm of the fan base. Hasbro has proven themselves to use product franchises and turning them into really good adventure stories without them just being a toy commercial. But regardless of their track record, everyone still has to be cautious. No company is flawless, so what could we expect from PR in the next few years? What are the positives and negatives that could come out of this? Thanks goes to William Howe 1 for this topic. If you have an idea or suggestion for a video, leave a comment down below. I might pick it one day.
Too much of a good thing.
This is something that gets overlooked. The best thing is PR becomes amazing. The fans love it, it's enjoyed by news outlets, articles, the toys sell great, the series does great. This can cause an overload on PR stuff. This has happened in the past where they were making so much bank they had to pump out so many episodes, so a lot of stories suffered in season 2 of MMPR. I remember it as the park season. I don't want to see Hasbro go overboard where it can damage the series from burnout or oversaturation, things like this. If it does good, keep it at a good pace. Give the series some room. It relies on Sentai footage, there's not much of it as a backup. Don't flood the market with so much product like those soda pop dinosaurs in Dino Charge. Endless amounts of black and gold versions. Those are cool because they're limited. When they're done with everything, then they're not.
Giving the franchise to the wrong people.
This would be a big issue, assuming Hasbro doesn't like the current team or that the team screws up Beast Morphers somehow. They would probably replace most with all new people. I'm not saying it would go bad no matter what, but seeing the track record with what Michael Bay did with Transformers, look at Bumblebee, a good Transformers movie finally not performing well thanks to Bay making too many bad films. I really would not like to see the series to drastically change or fall down the Bayformers rabbit hole, because when the series do this, either to gain a new audience or for the sake of fresh blood, changing things for the sake of change, it could easily mess up the series because it would alienate fans. Think Stargate Universe compared to SG-1 and Atlantis. Too much, all at once, killed it.
No improvement of the series.
Beast Morphers does fine, the toy sales do decent, so Hasbro doesn't change all that much. That's basically what happened with the Neo Saban seasons. The quality wasn't there, but the want to improve it wasn't either. Because the show met its requirements, the show did good enough numbers on Nick, the toy sales were okay, so the series would stay as is at the risk of repeating what happened in those 8 years. Hopefully, any issues, minor ones cropping up, producers or the writers will care enough so they fix these small issues that don't turn into major ones in the future. We don't need PR to go the route of Bethesda snowballing into garbage.
Being forgotten.
With Hasbro being such a huge company, other brands of theirs being bigger, PR could end up just there. It does its job, fans are happy, but it's just there. Not really getting a chance to expand into other areas like maybe an animated series / movie, anniversary specials, things of that caliber. For years, that's what PR did. We watched it, good bad seasons, but that's all it was. There was no importance to it past that. Hopefully it stays as a staple of TV. I'm not asking for keys to the city, but it would be great if it got better opportunities.
Sticking to MMPR.
This is the thing I fear the most. Them keeping the mandate of the seasons rehashing MMPR. Look, I love MMPR as anyone else, but this can't continue. The show looks bankrupt when you keep dipping your feet back into this pond. I got tired of MMPR after the 3 years. It needed to evolve. I'm at the point where I don't want to hear It's Morphin' Time. I don't want to hear the MMPR theme song. I don't care if it's just 2 seconds of it. It doesn't need to be here anymore. If it was an anniversary season, it would make sense. Not 8 years in a row. The show needs to be more creative. Stop using these aspects. You want to reference older stuff? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if integrated right. Look at Dino Thunder. The show had Tommy and they didn't use the theme song. Not even once. But they used the band that sung the MMPR theme to sing Dino Thunder. That's what you should do. But just shoehorning in the morph call and theme, you're just making that good stuff look bad. Come up with something original. We didn't need It's Morphin' Time, Dino Chargers ready, unleash the power.
cross-series stories.
A bonus from Hasbro owning PR is the potential to tell a whole bunch of new stories, either in animation or comic book form. PR can complement the Transformers universe and crossover events and vice versa with Boom and IDW. I wouldn't be opposed of odd toy lines like making Transformer-esque Rangers, My Little Ponies and Ranger outfits, things of that nature. Fun side products for kids. As long as there's quality in these things and not just a giant cash grab, it could put PR in a better limelight.
Switching back to Shout Factory.
For the people who care about home media, I've been vocal about poor choices made by Lionsgate. Lionsgate has the rights to all the home video releases of the HD seasons, minus that complete collection Shout Factory made for the 20th anniversary, so from Samurai to Super Ninja Steel, while Shout Factory has the rights to MMPR through RPM, as well as the Super Sentai releases. Since Hasbro has pretty much used Shout Factory for releasing all their products, it would make sense that the rights would go solely under Shout Factory. I'll explain why Lionsgate wasn't a good choice. I had no problem with them releasing volume sets. Majority of people don't like those, but they serve a purpose to the kids market. What I did have a problem with was the adult side of releases. Lionsgate would go the lazy way of making those sets. The first attempt was the Super Samurai Blu-ray set. I was glad they decided to put it on Blu-ray and even had some bonus features, but they messed up. First, why was it Super Samurai? Why wasn't it the first season released? Second problem and main reason why I didn't buy it was the set was missing episodes. Regardless of the season's quality, I expect to have all episodes. Just because these episodes are holiday episodes does not mean you don't put them in the set. I'm not going to buy the DVD releases of them wasting extra money plus not having them in HD. Because of this omission, a lot of people didn't buy it. Lionsgate ceased production. Until this day, we no longer got any Blu-ray releases in the US. It took them a few years to even give us full season sets on DVD. At first, they made MOD DVD sets of Samurai Season 1, which means burnt discs. Burnt discs degrade easier than pressed discs. Why am I going to waste my time on that? Then they eventually came out with season sets, but they just packaged all the volume sets into one box. They didn't put them on a proper amount of discs, so instead of having 8 episodes per DVD with 3 discs total for a season, you could have 5 or 6 discs in the box until Super Ninja Steel when they finally got it right. They did the same thing with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They didn't correct any of the old problems. Those season 10 episodes that were included in the season 1 set and the missing season 4 episodes, they didn't put them in their respective seasons, so you have to go back and forth with those episodes. If they had done the job right the first time, I would have bought them, no question. They wouldn't have sold amazing, but they wouldn't have been hampered by additional problems. Releasing the show on Blu-ray would also help in minimizing costs. Blu-ray disc production is a little bit cheaper than DVD production. They could have made complete series set so that Samurai Season 1 and 2 would be on 4 Blu-ray discs. That would have been the perfect way to do these. It's a premium product, make it premium. I had to buy the German releases of Samurai and Megaforce. They did a nearly perfect job. If you want to get these sets, I suggest picking up the bundle pack. The original releases here omitted the 2 Super Samurai holiday episodes. They didn't do that with the first season. They are region free and have the English voice tracks. If Hasbro gives the rights to Shout Factory, I'll be confident in them making quality. I hope they'll release them on Blu-ray. They did really good releases with Transformers Prime and the original's 80s movie, but even if they don't, it would still be a worthwhile purchase. I would like to see what type of bonus features they could do for future seasons, if allowed.
Fixing problems of the series.
Hasbro was ultimately the best choice in getting the franchise. They've always worked on toy products, they understand what sells and doesn't sell, they've helped create a great series of Transformers. Hasbro works with Japanese companies, so they have that experience under their belt. Hopefully the change will allow the show to get some more money to work with. Saban Brands kept them under a very small budget. There's nothing wrong with that most of the time, but when it matters, seasons like Super Megaforce, you need to spend the money. Hasbro could allow the writers to do better stories on the same caliber of Space, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, correct the imbalance of comedy and seriousness, clean up the show, and in general, we probably won't see any real changes until Season 2 of Beast Morphers. They've already completed filming, so they're locked with what the writers were doing before the acquisition. I know the current writers can do good. I hope they get the chance to do good.
Better Toyline support.
This was mind-boggling that Bandai could not capitalize on Power Rangers. Looking back in just the 8 years, Bandai was all over the place. It was like they had ears in 10 different areas. One exec was saying this, another this, fans wanted this. They basically tried everything to see what stuck to the wall. They did do good stuff, but they did bad stuff along with it. I was happy they released some of the Japanese products in the US, but they shouldn't have released them in stores. Keep them on their website, and the releases needed to make sense. Great that we got Shinken-O, but you never released any other mecha sets from Shinkenger. A lot of the legacy stuff was amazing. The Blade Blaster, Saba, the Dragon Dagger, but then they released the communicators with the sound-alikes. Why would I want that? If I'm going to buy a premium product, I expect to have David Fielding and Richard Horvitz, as well as have all 6 Ranger colors. There was no reason to make a Green Ranger set. Then they made the Power Morpher movie versions, but the movie ones should have all been in one set with swappable faceplates and the ninja coins. Bandai just kept milking MMPR, then they started getting sloppy. Look, everyone knows it, I know it, MMPR is the most lucrative, but sticking to MMPR all these years is a death sentence. People got tired of it, I stopped buying, then you had the problems with female figures not being released properly, Zord parts in with those legacy figures instead of just having the weapons. Bandai, you are mixing 2 different age ranges. Kids would like the Zord builder parts, but the legacy figures are meant for adults. Most would want the weapons. I still don't get why they did the annoying half teams each wave. I heard the argument on No Pink Spandex podcast, but it's not justified. Release the entire team. How does splitting a team into 2 parts help me? If I want the team, I want the team. Me waiting for Dino Thunder doesn't mean I'll buy space figures, especially with the track record of teams being left incomplete. I'm not going to buy the Cycle Rangers, especially when Pink was the only one that had an arc. There was production errors with the MMPR belts, the famously insulting Gold Ranger figure. Things kept going wrong till the end. With Hasbro, I hope they don't stick too much with MMPR. Do MMPR, but do other seasons at the same time, and don't break them up. Hasbro's done decent work with the TF line. They had some issues, but at least they released different versions. They don't stick to one TF generation. Hopefully they can keep the quality up. I want to see I'm spending $40 on a Megazord, not a $15 looking Samurai Megazord that doesn't have the origami mode, or forced to buy repaints to get the Aux swords from Ninja Steel.
Large company behind the franchise.
Sabron Brands was a company, but they only owned a few things here and there, so they didn't want to pump that much into the PR franchise, which, with Hasbro, whether you love them for Beast Wars or hate them because of Bayformers, Hasbro is huge. They can breathe life back into PR. Better promotion on TV and store shelves, can invest more money into the series, they could put PR on Netflix faster. In the future, move away from Nick, putting the series on Discovery Family is an option since they own 40% of that station, which could finally revert the series back to a single 40-episode season. The movie franchise can go under bigger studios since Hasbro has worked with Paramount. Any of these can easily boost PR in several areas, but above everything, quality needs to be there. PR sticks to its roots while reaching the quality of Transformers Prime, Beast Wars, past seasons of PR, the show will be fine. I am cautiously optimistic with Hasbro. Besides Bayformers and few other side projects, they are a good company. I can't give them the full benefit of the doubt. That's thanks to so many companies in recent years have made really, really bad products that damage my look towards them. I just like to have good content again from old series. What are your thoughts on Hasbro? Your experience is going to be different. Yes, there is a loss that Bandai is now gone. That means fans of the Sentai toys will never get any chance of that coming here officially anymore. You have to solely stick to importing. But I'm still expecting them to come up with some really great stuff that I would love to support. New episodes every Monday. Next week, best Megazord cockpits.